Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Cracking the Cryptic. In the last puzzle, here we had antlers and that took 157 minutes, and I think that's pretty much all I really want to say about it. I had hoped that the Stormo Night Sudoku had been more helpful to get back to faster times. But yeah, I think, getting brain drained as we continue down this path, and it's kind of a long journey. There's still quite a few puzzles here in this starter set alone. It makes it very difficult for somebody who is struggling, or even who is just not at the top as far as skill of solving variants of Sudoku, to want to buy the DLC and continue with more puzzles. Although, in fairness, I am also doing this as a YouTube content creator, and there is a big split between a YouTube content creator who would want to record 8 hours of footage and potentially many episodes, and somebody who would just be more casually doing a Sudoku puzzle once a week on a Sunday, or even once a day. Today's puzzle is a sandwich Sudoku, which classic rules of Sudoku still apply. There must be a 1 through 9 exactly once for every column, every row, and every square, every box. But then there is also the sandwich rules that says the numbers outside each row and column correspond to the sum of the numbers between 1 and 9 in that row or column. Which, I looked at this in the last recording, and that makes no sense at all to me. And I've slept since the last recording, so I'm trying to think if there's something. So I was hoping maybe it would make more sense on the second after sleeping, but no, it doesn't seem like that's the case. We have extra buttons here, and that we have a 1-9 button here, which, let's just see what the 1-9 button does. Okay, it adds 1-9. So there must be some extra value in having a 1-9. There's also an X button that has been brought up, which there was an X button over here. So that X button versus that X button gives you what looks like the exact same X button, and it gets treated as the same X button, so that they aren't slightly different X buttons, even though the icon here is slightly different. This is smaller than that. I've also learned the interface, and yeah, the game really needs a tutorial on that, in that we have different options here. So if I drag and select, first of all, you can drag and select, but you can't really easily do a diagonal. When you drag and select multiples in this mode, it will add a 1 in the center. If you did this mode, it'll set all of those to be 1, and unfortunately, I guess I kind of cheated there by doing that. But if you put a 1 in this mode, let's see what the back button does. It puts a 1 there. So I want to be in this mode, more than likely, and stay on this screen and not really have to come to this screen or this screen, unless I want to put reds in this. So it should be less clicks, theoretically. And I'm noticing now that there's also a back button here. So if I do set something to multiple numbers, what I've been doing in the past is I've just been hitting all the numbers to remove them, when I could just have been clicking the back button, the backspace, to clear it all. Alright. So what I notice here is that click a sandwich clue to see the possible combinations. We have a 2 here. 2 is 2 in column 2. That means nothing to me. I still don't have an idea as to what this means. The biggest number here is 33. 33 tells me that there's probably a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. The number outside each row and column corresponds to the sum of numbers. Yeah, the instruction here just, I think, is terrible as how it's written. I think what they're trying to say here, and we've run into this problem before, in that these rules are still just like poorly written. If you're just not on the same page, I'm thinking what this means is that there has to be a sandwich of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then it could be 1 or 9, or 1 or 9, or it could be 1 or 9 and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 1 or 9, or it could be 1 or 9 and 1 or 9, and then the rest of this is 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and thus the sandwich is all combined like that. And I imagine it is also any possible combination. So it could be 1 or 9 here, 1 or 9 here, and then it could be 4, then it could be 7, then it could be 6, then it could be 3, and the rest of the numbers. Otherwise, that would be giving me quite a lot of information. Although I kind of need quite a lot of information too, because this is, unlike classic Sudoku puzzles, starting with only one digit. And I assume blank does not mean 0, because that wouldn't work. And I guess maybe you could look here. And let's see if we can do something here with this. In this case, I will come over here and just mark with this. If the options are 2, 3, 4, 5, or 8, or 7, we know then that there can't be a 1 in this square. But there must be a 1 in the column somewhere. And then if the options here were 2, 3, 7, plus 4, plus 5, plus 6, plus 8, we kind of know that there isn't a 6 here. Is that really what that means? No, I don't think it means that at all. The number that's different here is there's a 6 possibly here. There's a 6 possibly here. So that still overlaps. It definitely seems like the 1 and 9s are the tricks. But I think I'm going to very quickly have to, and if that's the case, then it almost would make sense to also have the opposite button to 1 and 9s. But they're probably trying to encourage good puzzle solving skills by only marking 1 and 9s. There possibly is something about this one that tells me quite a bit, and I think maybe that's the case. I think all the possibilities on this can't have a 1 or 9 in it. I'm almost certainly going to have to use a hint just to get started here, because I don't understand the concept. And moving forward on faulty logic as your very first move is just insanity. I'm not even speaking the same language at that point. Yeah, unless there was a 6 or 8. And I assume this is 12 and not just a 1 and a 2. And yeah, that has to be the case because you couldn't have a 3 and a 3. Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. I forgot to turn on the audio on that. Let me take a moment to bring that up. While we're at it. So we can have some background music and people can potentially not hear my stomach rumbling. I suppose that is one thing I could do in recording these series, these episodes, is I could just pause the recording and make my own breaks if necessary. And I may get to that point. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't want to load. It says it's connecting. Maybe it's on some kind of maintenance. Nope, just taking forever. There we can have some background music playing. Get back to the puzzle now. Okay. So I guess I just want to talk out my logic here. My thought here is that of this, a 6 and 8 might be in this spot, and then a 1 and 9 could be in the opposite spot. But if it is a 2, 3, 4, and 5 that has to happen, or 2, 4, 8, 2, 5, 7, 3, 4, 7, or 3, 5, 6, all of them, I mean, inherently don't have to be in that square at all, which that wouldn't mean anything. If it was a case that this sees it first, let's play that logic out. So, if this was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 as a possibility, then this also would have to be that same 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 there as a possibility. And if it was 6, it could be in any combination. So this could be 6, or this could be 8, this could be 6, or this could be 8. Maybe if it's the first thing you have to see, then this couldn't be 6, but it could still be 6 because this could be 3, 5, 6. Maybe this can't be 6. Yeah, I think that of the possible combinations that this is showing me, that's the only thing you can really get from that, is that if this was a 6, 8, and you have to see it first, it would be here. And if it's a 3, 5, 6, a 6 could be here, here, or here. 6 could be here or here with a 6, 8. A 6 could never be here, if that's what it means. But if we're going to follow that logic down the path, then this 14 would have to mean that removes that from being a 6. And then if this is what that means, it would be same pattern here. And honestly, I guess there are still plenty of combinations where this could be a 6, this could be a 6, and this could be a 6. We're just saying, if my logic was right, which it probably isn't, that this doesn't indicate that that could be a 6. And I guess, let's see what happens if I hold down backspace. Nothing. One thing we could do here instead is, before we have to use a hint, if my logic is correct, then this 2 and this 3 means that would be a 2, and it's not, so we don't have to go any further. My logic is not correct. It is not a case that this sees a 2 first, which doesn't tell me anything special. Like, it's telling me then, I guess, that there's a 2 somewhere in this column, which I could have told you that to begin with. But same is true here. I don't think any of these numbers have only 2 number combinations, but 32 and 33 have only 1 combination. But it's not a case where I think it has to be in order. And I guess at any point I could just brute force and cheat and put in answers on a Sudoku puzzle. But at that point I'm just leaving logic completely behind if I was to do that. So there is something here about the 1-9 pairs to get us started. I've never done a sandwich Sudoku before, obviously. And these icons are weird selections and desires for, if you're going to depict a sandwich, I don't think that is what I would use. So we gotta just understand what a sandwich Sudoku means first. So we're gonna have to use a hint as our very first move, and I've agonized it for nearly 20 minutes just to get to this point, just to try and learn it myself. The sum of the numbers between 1 and 9 that are in that column. Wait a minute. Maybe that's the part I'm not understanding. Is it possible that this is a 1 and 9, and this is a 1 and 9, and this is a 2? I think that is the case, but we can't prove it with this. But we can prove it with this. Since there's only one combination that would get to 33, then that should be a 1 and 9, and that should be a 1 and 9, and it's sandwiched between 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So to prove this theory, I'm going to have to cheat a little bit and test and see if there's a 1 here. Yes, there is, which then means there has to be a 9 there. Let's undo that progress though. Alright, well, 20 minutes of agonizing and rereading the instructions over and over again to try and figure it out. Maybe I'm just slow, but boy do I need like a visual depiction of these explanations. Boy do I need just like a help page, like, and something more than just one box. I need tutorials on this is how you do sandwich sudokus. Now that I know this, however, we can very quickly, if I can click correctly, find that we have a 1-9 pair here and a 1-9 pair here, which then brings about, I guess, the next question, in that this selection here seems like it could be something, but the sum of the numbers squished between a 1 and a 9 in this way would have to be more than the longest combination of 2, 3, 4, and 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 extra. So does this wrap around because there's not a there's not a way to do this? What this probably tells me is that there's a 9 here or a 1 here in both places, that these are the same number and these are the same numbers. So we will pair those with the color, and hopefully this is a good use of using the colors instead of just using the colors to distract me. Okay. I don't think I'll be settling any numbers anytime soon. Probably what I should have done is not looked at the 14 here, but the next biggest number, 20. Okay. We know for a fact this can't be 1 or 9, and we know for a fact this can't be 1 or 9, because we need in the column of 20 at least 3. So we know, I guess we should put an X here to indicate that. No 1-9 pairs there, and no 1-9 pairs here. But theoretically, I guess there could be a 1-9 here and a 1-9 here. And if this is a 1-9 and this is a 1-9, then that leaves me with only a 3 combination, which means this has to be 5, 8, 7, doesn't it? 5 or 7 or 8, with this being a 1-9 and this being a 1-9. I'm putting a massive amount of faith here on this too, that I'm solving any of this right, and I won't really be shown whether I'm right or wrong for quite a while in believing this. So we know. Are we for certain that this can't be a 1 or 9? Yes. So then we probably know that this and this can't be a 1 or 9 either. But no, I think it could be. This could be a 1 or 9. These two could be a 9, this could be a 1. So both of those are options. If it's always got to be squashed, this could be a 1 or 9. And it could go all the way here. At least I think it could go all the way here. You have 3 or 4. I may be taking an incorrect logical leap here, but I'm suspecting what needs to be the case is that in the sandwich only those numbers are included. Otherwise, that really wouldn't be giving you any information. So a 1, 9 here, and then a number, and then a couple of numbers, and then a 1, 9 here would still work. 1, 9 here, and some numbers would still work. This X only says that this spot can't be a 1, 9. It doesn't mean this can't be and this can't be. So we would need to eliminate a couple more options to get the rows or columns to be shorter. So I don't think there's anything more that we can take from the 17. And as we get to smaller numbers, I don't know if we can extract any information. If this can be 5, 7, and 8, a lot of these numbers overlap. So once we figure out what this number is, this will tell me whether there's a 1, 9 here or 1, 9 here, and then some numbers and a 1, 9 here, 1, 9 here. Or if there's like a 1, 9 here, and then some numbers and a 1, 9 here, and it just doesn't even touch these other numbers. But I don't think we'll get to that point yet. The 1 now does tell me something, doesn't it? But it's in the absolute worst position where it's not helping me because I don't have any sums on it. If there was even like a 2 here, then I would know that this would be 1, and then either this, or this would be a 2, and then on the other side of that, this would be a 9, this would be a 9, this would be a 9, or this would be a 9 on the other side of that too. 12. Still probably isn't going to help me. So really small numbers like 2, would that help me any? You would need to know that there is a 1 and a 9 and then a 2 in the middle. We know these have to either be both 1s or both 9s, I'm pretty sure. But if these were both 9s, I could put a 1 here and then a 2 and then a 9. If these were both 1s, I could put a 9 here and then a 2 and then a 1. No, I can't because of this 1. Okay. So is there any other place where I could put a 9 to squeeze a 2? Let's see. If this was a 1, then I couldn't put a 9 and a 1 both in this square, so that's out. If this is a 1, this could be a 9, then a 2 and a 1, and that's out. So this one can't be a 9. if this was a 1, 9, 2, 1. If this was a 9, 1, 2, 9. So this is possibly a 1 here. But if one of these is both of these are 9s, then either this or this would have to be a 9. And then what I think it probably boils down to is that this here is going to be 1, but then this can't be a 9, can it? It can't be a 9 either, so it can't be 1, 2, 9 that way. Did I mark this wrong? I think I did. I don't think this is saying this can't be a 9. This can't be a 1. This can't be a 9. In the sense a 2 can't be in here, this also can't be a 9. We're just mirroring our logic. So we know a 2 at this point can't be here. So we can remove that. That's a possibility. Don't think that changes anything as far as the combinations there. And 2 couldn't be here. That's why this can't be a 9. A 2 1 can't be here, and a 9 can't be in either of these. So I think it does boil down to either this or this has to be a 1, and then this or this has to be a 2, and then this has to be a 9. The only other possibility would be if this was 1, 2, 9 here. And is there anything that would stop that from being the case? I don't think that's the case. So I'm saying that any of those could be 1 or 2 or 9, and then I'm saying that this is 2 or 9. And we know that this can't be 2 and this can't be 2, and we know that this can't be 9. Yeah, because if this was 1 and this is 1, then this would have to be 9. Or would it have to be 9? Maybe. It couldn't be. Actually, there's more logic here we've already solved. Unless I'm wrong. Which maybe I'm wrong. I think all this information is potentially wrong here, because know this can't be 1, 9, but I think maybe this could be 1, 9. Here. Where I put these X's. That could be wrong. This could be 1, 9. And then there could be a number here that adds as a combination. Yeah, it almost certainly has to be wrong. Or something has to be wrong here. Interesting that the backspace button does not get rid of the X's. Oh, it got rid of the X that time. I hate to undo progress there, but it's very important to undo progress if it's wrong. Yep. There is just a possibility that the 1, 9 is here. One of the combinations includes one of these numbers, and then it would go this way. Unless we were saying that a 9 can't be here because the smallest combination would be 5, 7, 8, and then a 1, 9 couldn't be here. If I could prove that a 1, 9 couldn't be here, then we know that can't be a 9. And that maybe bumps it up. But the next biggest number is a 17 here, and a 1, 9 definitely could be here. And you could make a 4 combination and put a 1, 9 here. If we look at 3, a 1, 9 could be here, and this could be a 3, and that. Or a 1, 9, 3, and then a 1, 9 here. Seems like you couldn't have a 1, 9 here, and then have a 3, and then a 1, 9. And then 2, maybe is a possibility back on the table here. Could this be 1 and then 2 and 1? No. This is not a possibility for 2. So that 2 should have an X in it, I guess. I just don't think for certain there's anything that can be derived from this. Possibly other numbers might give you smaller combinations, and so maybe we should be looking at the smaller groups of numbers. If the sandwich meant that all of these combinations had to play out, then there would be very limited patterns as far as what you could enter. If this included a 2, then we would know the combination here. Maybe there's some more logic that can be derived from this before I jump to a hint. Like, if this was 2 then we would need a 3, a 4, and a 5 here, and then a 1, 9 here, which could be 9, and then this could be 1. If it was a 2, it could be 2, 4, 8, which then could be a 9, and it could be a 1. Or 2, 5, 7, and this could be 9, and that could be a 1. If this is not 2, then it is a 1 and 9 at that point. And then whatever this would be would end with a 9 in a 6-8 combination or a 3-5-6 combination, or it even could be a case where this is a 9 and it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 if we get to that spot. And that's possibly where we're going to get a hint, is that one of these two combinations is going to be in that level. If this was a 2, we don't know anything from that sandwich. And this column tells us something, tells us just that both of these have to be 9 or both of these have to be 1. And whatever these are, they have to be the same too, but they have to be opposite of whatever these are. Which, if both of these are 1, then you can have a 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and that wouldn't eliminate any 2s. You could have a 2, 4, 8, and it still wouldn't eliminate any 2s. You could have a 3, 4, 7, and that wouldn't help you. Or you could have a 6, 8, and that wouldn't help you. If it was a 4 length combination, though, and both of these were 1, then it would be 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 9, which that works still. So I've given it the college try for 40 minutes here to learn how to do sandwich puzzles, but something is eluding me, obviously. I'm frankly surprised I've even made it this far, and I'm assuming that I'm even right quite a bit, considering we just started with number 1. So, do we want a smart hint, or do we want print hints? Let's do a smart hint and see if smart hints and sandwich Sudoku might get me down to the next step. Although, if I was going to guess, I wouldn't be surprised if it just says it can't generate a hint. Yeah. That's what I thought might happen, just because there wasn't that many pieces solved yet, really no number solved yet. We had this one to start with, so we've got to go with the handwritten hint. In row 2, either the 1 and 9 are in row 2, column 1, 8. What? In row 2, this is row 2. 1 and 9 are either in row 2, column 1, which makes sense, or column 8, which doesn't make sense, with 2 in row, with a 2 being here. Okay, I think we'll have to look at the combinations here to address this. There was a logical flaw here. Right. In this, if this is, it's either going to be a case where the 1 is here, and then the only combination takes up 6 digits, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I see what I've made a mistake here. And since the number 2 is the odd man out, then this would have to be a 1, 9, and this would have to be a 2. Okay, is that a problem? I don't think so. Then the other only option would be that the 1, 9 would be here, and then it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 digits with a 1, 9 here, and a 2 here. And is that a problem? Not as far as I can tell. So we're going to need that second sentence to understand. The latter of it being the latter of the 1, 9 being here and here, with the 2 being here, would require the 2 in row 3, column 2, as well as the 2 in row 2 would require 2 to be here. Ah, okay. So it is impossible. Let's see if we can clean up our selection mess here quite a bit. Okay. So it's saying if the 1, 9 was here, the odd man out 2 would be here. If that is the case, and then this is seeing a 2 between 1 and 2, then the 2 would also need to be here. You can't have 2s in the same box. That means this is actually a 1, 9. This is actually a 2 set already. This background can go away. This background can go away. This background can go away because I was wrong. And this background can go away because that was potentially wrong. Okay. So now we have not made too much progress other than we've locked ourselves down to a spot. So when we look at this combination, we should be able to find in 32 the exact same situation. If the opposite 1, 9 to this was here, then you would have 6 digits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then a 1, 9 here, with the odd man out being a 9. You can't have the odd man out being, no, the odd man out being a 3. Okay. Yeah, it's 1, 3, and 9 are missing from this combination, and obviously it's not going to be. So would there be a problem with a 3 being here? Doesn't seem like it. Would there be a problem with a 3 being here? Well, no, I don't think there's a real problem with the 3 being here. At least not without thinking some much more complicated situations. But there is probably a problem with 3 being here. one of these combinations, if this is a 1, 9, then a 3 would be here, and a 3 would need to be here. So this can't be 3, so this has to be 1, 9. So then this has to be 1, 9, and this has to be a 3. Alright. Now we've got some progress happening. Either it's a case now that the 1, 9 is here and it includes these 2 combinations, or these 3 combinations of 3s, which, let's play that out. This, and then a 1, 9 here, and a 1, 9 here. I don't think works. But we know a 1 or 9 is here. And so you can't have like a 9, and a 1. You can't have a 1 and a 9 here, and then include a 3 unless the combination doesn't include a 3. So it seems like the possibilities are that this is 6, 8, or this is 2, 4, 8, or 2, 5, 7, and then there would be a 1, 9 here. Am I certain about that? The longest combination including a 3 would be a 1, 9 here, then 3, 2, 4, 5, 1, 9 here. Yeah, it can't include a 3. It's got to include these combinations, which means either it is 3 digits, 1, 2, 3 digits and a 1, 9 in this box, or it is 2 digits and a 1, 9 in this box, which I think stupidly means these can't be 1, 9. Let's do it this way. 1, 1, 9. Because either this or this is a 1, 9. Meaning this can't be a 1, 9. This could be a 1, a 2, and a 9. But it can't be a 1, 9. So have I eliminated all possibilities here? I think actually I have, made a mistake there. Let's undo that. And put that back to the way it was. Just because we know that this could be a 1, 9 or this could be a 1, 9 doesn't mean both of these are 1, 9s. And we would need both of these to be 1, 9s to eliminate that. If the possible combinations here probably should just mark all these as 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then this box could be a 1, 9, and this box could be a 1, 9, and then it also could be several other numbers. In this combination, there's no guarantee that there would be a 2 in this box. 2 could be in this box, or it could be 6, 8, And then I guess the question would be, what are the possible odd numbers out? I think the game is going to make me think on those terms, even though I don't want to think on those terms. Okay. We know 1's not an option in these boxes. 2 might be an option in these boxes. And 4 and 5 and 7 and 8 and 6. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 3. Oh, but we've already eliminated 3. So basically all we've proven there is that 1, 9 can't be here and can't be here. Which maybe that tells me something. Or maybe it just means I need to go ahead and mark an X here to once again point out where 1, 9 can't be. We could mark an X here, point out where 1, 9 can't be. So we may be reducing on the 1, 9 issues. So I imagine you could just make a variant of Sandwich Sudoku where the numbers were squeezed between a 2 and a 7 just as much, or a 2 and a 9, or a 4 and a 9. Since there is no real math happening, there's no correlation between the numbers and they might as well just be symbols. Honestly, it would be nice if there was an interface here where you could make it shapes or colors and get away from numbers. And certainly you could probably try to internationalize this, and instead of just using Arabic numbers, which is what English speaking people use, then you could use more exotic numbers in different languages. Although I guess there's only a few languages I'm aware of that have different numbering systems. It's pretty universally used. No living languages, numbering systems. There's ancient ones. I think we could ask a question now, maybe around this. If this was 1, 9, then there would have to be 1, 2, 3, and then a 1, 9, or 1, 2, and then a 1, 9, or 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 9. So if this was 9, then this would have to be 1, so it can't be that. So then the 9 either has to be here, here, or here. Or if this was 1, 9, then this would have to be 9, and then the combination options are fairly limited in that it would have to be 2, 4, 8, or 2, 5, 7. There's no way that this could be a 1. I mean, this could be a 9. And then just some random numbers here. for a sandwich that's not being mentioned. And then this would be a 1. And then some numbers that would put a 9 here. Is that correct? No, I think that could work. 2. I think there's a possibility of that. So in one scenario, this has to be a 9. I mean, this has to be a 1. And then the 9 has to end up here. In another scenario, this has to be a 9. And then you can get a 3 combination to the 1 at that point. And in a third scenario, if this was a 9, then this would have to be a 1 and end up in a 9. So that's kind of the same scenario. So I don't think that eliminates anything. The fact that you have the same pattern here maybe tells me something, though. Since we know, in this case, this could be a 1-9, but we know either this or this is going to have to be a 9 or a 1. It can't be a 1. But we can, I guess, eliminate that as a possibility. Just by basic Sudoku. So this could be 9 here, and then one of these would have to be 1 here at that point. I'm pretty sure. But maybe I'm wrong about that. If this was 9, then does this have to be 1, or could 1 be way over there? Let's say this was 9 here. Then I couldn't do at that point a 9 here, which means I can't do 1, 2, 9, and maybe I could do 2, 9, 1, but I can't do that, so that would eliminate that from being a 2 possibility. And then if this is 9 here, then this, could I do 1, 2, 9 here to get to the 2? No. If this is 1 here, I'm putting a lot of faith in here in what I've done so far to be certain about this. 1, 2, 9 won't work, because then if there was a 9 here, then this would have to be a 1, this would have to be a 9. Maybe that would work. 9, then 1 here means I can't do a 1 or 9 here, which then makes that 2. I don't think I'm holding on to all the possibilities in my head. I think I'm dropping some threads. But I think what I'm saying is that this has to be 2. Or this can't be 2. Or am I saying both? Yeah, which is impossible. Why are these marked as 1, 9? Oh, no, that's right. Yeah, take a step back. A 1 and a 9 has to be here. It means that we cannot have, because of this, a Seems like we could have a 2 here. We've got to have a 2 there. Yeah, once we determine this, like, so all my information was just wrong, basically. And that explains why I'm struggling here, is that I'm working off of faulty information. Okay. So here we go. Now I think correcting some mistake. We know that the 2 combination here could not have gone against the wall. Or at least we're assuming that's the case, and that it actually has to be sandwiched in between a 1 and a 9, and not just in between a 1 and a 9 and a wall. Although there probably is another variant of Sudoku you could make where the same hint did mean something was sandwiched between a wall, and then that would just be the outside edges instead of the inside run of numbers. So if we know this is either a 1 or a 9, and we know either here is a 1, either here is a 9 but can't be a 1, or either here is a 1 or 9, we know then with a high level of certainty that these can't be 1 and 9s. And while we're at it, let's just pick some other places we kind of know a 1 and a 9 can't be, since we already have 2 1-9s in the path. I don't think we can mark anything wrong here, though. We could mark that as wrong. We can mark that as wrong with an X. But that's pretty much it. The 3 X's here boil us down to having a 1-9. Could be here, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, and here. Or it could be here, and then 3, 4, 7, and then a 1-9 here. Or it could be 1-9, 6, 8. Or it could be like a 1-9, 6, 8, and a 1-9. Regardless, we know that there's going to be a 1-9 pair in this row somewhere. Although it could be anywhere. How many 1-9 pairs can you have in a single box? 2, obviously, since they are a set of numbers. Does that mean you have to have a 1-9 pair in every box? Yes, you do, because you have to have a 1 and a 9 in every single box. So we know now either a 1-9 would be here, or a 1-9 would be here. And this is probably the wrong thing to look at. We probably should look at this. We either, in this combination, need a 1-9 here that goes over all of this and then finishes here, which, let's count the numbers there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 1-5 combination that would work on. Or we need a 1-9 here, and then we know we can't have a 1-9 here, or we're fairly certain at least. I hope I'm right about that. So then it would have to be, it couldn't be 5, 7, 8. Could it be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a 1, 9 here. Yes. But it can't be 4s? Yeah. None of these 4 combinations are valid in this column. So that eliminates us down to 2 combinations in that column, but unfortunately I don't think it does anything more for us. Unless there happened to be a case where this 2, 4, 5, 6 would have been invalid. 2, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Two, 4, 3, 5, 6. Yep. Eventually we will probably eliminate this as an option. Let's look on the 15s. We probably have too many options on the 15 column here to be helpful. We probably have too many options here for that to be helpful. Since we know this has to be a 1, 9, then this has to be a 3. Okay, which eliminates the possibility of this being a 3. And then it puts a 1, 9 here, which then that limits us here. Okay. I'm slowly getting it. So now if it was 1, 2, 3, 4, that would put a 1, 9 in a spot that I'm hoping is accurate in that it can't be a 1, 9 here. I'm fairly certain that is the case. So that's eliminated as a column possibility. But it could be that a 1, 9 is here, and then it could be any of these 3 possibilities. And it could be that a 9 is here. And then the other options, if the 9 was here, this would then be 1, and this would be a 6, 8. Otherwise, these could also be 2 and possibly 3, possibly 4, possibly 5, possibly 6, possibly 7, possibly 8. So basically every number, except for there's a 9 here. This is a great example, I think, also where the interface could be tweaked a little bit. Instead of having a line going through here, maybe have a dotted line, or just draw a box around the edge, even like a zigzag border around the edge, to keep it so you're not just crossing out the numbers, which is just going to make it more difficult to read. Okay. Backwards logic has stated now that if a 1, 9 is here and a 1, 9 is here, then 1, 9 can't be in these two, which we'd already known. But then oh man, this can't be a 1, 9, can it? Regardless of whether this is a 1 or 9, the logic falls apart. You can't have a 1 and a 9 next to each other, or a 9 and 1 next to each other with nothing in between it. So no empty sandwiches. That makes that a square and not a 1, 9. That means then this has to be a 9. Which means this has to be a 1, which we should probably just go through that process first. Let's just turn off multi-select mode so we can do this easily. 1, turning that into a 9, turning that into a 1, turning that into a 9, turning that into a 1, turning that into a 9, turning that into a 1. Now inherently, the 1-9 pairs are going to solve all the 1s and 9s, or most of the 1s and 9s on the puzzle, and then you'll be left with other options that you'll have to solve probably by more basic Sudoku rules. Right. But massive amount of progress once we untangled that thread. And I believe when we eliminated that down, that means these two can't be anything other than 6 and 8. Now, as the only combination left on that possibility, which then I suppose makes it worthwhile to probably remove 6s and 8s from the other numbers we had filled in. We need a 2 in this column. Is there a reason why a 2 couldn't be here? I don't see a reason. So 2 could be here. Could a 4 be here? And could a 5 be there? And could a 7 be there? I'm just gonna mark that in because I don't want it to look like there's just only one possibility. There might actually only be one possibility, but I haven't gotten to that point yet. I also think I might be screwed here and wrong. Because now, because of this 1-9, doesn't that mean that this has to be 9, and then this has to be 2, 3, 4, and 5? Because if it was a 3-digit number, then I would have had to put another 1-9 in this box, which I can't do. And if it was a 2-digit number, same thing. Would have had to put a 1-9 in this box, which I can't do. Alright. Do we have any more possibilities here? We can eliminate the 6-8 combination in that row. Because, yep, a 6-8 is not going to be in between there. And if something required both a 6 and an 8, we could eliminate that combination, but we can't. And maybe we are at a point where maybe just some basic Sudoku would help. Somehow we determined that a 1, 9 could not be here, and we've put an X, which means a 9 would have to be here. How did we determine that? I think some of these X's might be wrong. Oh, well, a 9 can't be here. Well, it could be here because there's no hint in this column. So it could just be 1, 9 with an empty sandwich in between it. I wonder if these puzzles allow for that, or if it is always a basic rule that 1, 9s will never touch each other, even if there isn't a hint. Yeah, I am definitely leaning to the idea that I'm just wrong here. And we do need a 1 in this box. So there could be a 1 here, and then any number of numbers that way. Or there could be a 1 here and any number of numbers that way. Just get rid of those. Since we have a 1, 9 here, though, we can add those and say that's not a 1, 9. We can do the same for that spot because there's a 1, 9 here. We can do the same for that spot, and we know there isn't a 1, 9 here. And actually we know there's not a 1, 9 there either because there's already a 1, 9 in this box. Same is true for that. Let's look at this possible combinations of numbers. Yeah, you've got a lot of options here with this 12 column. You could do 9, 5, 7, and then 1 here. Well, no, that wouldn't work. In fact, you can't do anything with a 1 here because there's a 1, so those can't be 1, 9 either. So then that does limit you down to 9, 5, 7, 9, 4, 8, and a 1, 9 here, which would have to be 1, or, and yeah, the 1 has to either be here or here, because I can't put a 1 here, and so you can mark those there. So this could be 5, 7, or 4, 8 in the 1, because we can't have a 1 for any 3-digit number, so each of those options are not valid. That makes that a 1. That means there's a 1 up here, and maybe that doesn't tell us anything. I guess we could go ahead and mark this though, that this is either 4. No, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to do this. 4, 4, 5, 7, or 8. Pairing with this. So once we determine this, this will tell us what this number is, and then it will reduce what the combinations are on that. Looking now at this, this could be 7 and 8 in a 1 here, which would make sense. Or the 1 could be over here. And either one of these could be 9. Or the other option would be to do 3 digits and do a 1 here, which we know that can't work, so all of the 3-digit combinations in this column are out. Or we could do 4 digits and a 1 9 here. So we've severely reduced the possibilities. When we reduce the possibilities, it is memorizing this too, so we can just come back to it later. It would be very unhelpful if it turned out it just reset every time. Okay. I might be wrong about what's been marked off here. If we know that there's a 1 here, that doesn't stop there being a 9 here or 9 here. If we did a 9 here, 1, 2, 3, 4 digits would make a 1 9. That's why we eliminated all the middle ones. But if we did a 9 here, 1, 2, 3, wouldn't work. But if we did a 9 here, it would work. This could be a 1, this could be a 9, and this could be 5, 7, 8. There's a decent chance of that. And yeah, I doubt we'll get any more information from this column or this column. Those were easy starter things. And we're right about that. If one of these has to be a 1, maybe this information now can help reduce the possibilities. There is not going to be a 1 or a 9 here. Now, we can see that we already have a 1 and 9 in that box. So, we could do a 1 9 here, and then a 2 combination, but not a 3 combination from the looks of it, because you can't put a 1 and 9 here. So, okay. 1 9 there, 1 9 there. That's literally the only option. And then this is 4, 5, 7, and 8 as possibilities. And then we know a 1 has to be here by basic Sudoku. So then that means this has to be a 1. And then that has to be a 9. Looking at the 1s, there has to be a 1 here or here. And does that bring us back down to something? Let's see. 7, 8. Well, looks like 7, 8 is not a valid option anymore. Why is that the case? Or did I just not mark things correctly? No, we've got a 1 9. It's got to be this combination. And this combination doesn't have a 7 8. And since 9 7 8 would have to happen here, we know then that this is not a 1 9, and that eliminates that possibility. So then we know that this is a 1 9, and that these, how are we going to do that? Like that, have to be 2, 3, 4, and 6. That's a possibility. But then we also know 6 is not here. Yeah, this interface is still kind of weird. It's not thinking ahead to what I'd like it to be thinking. Okay. So then this brings the realm of possibilities down in that this can't be a 1-9 because that would be a 1-9 next to it. And since we already have a 1-9 here and a 1-9 here, the 1-9 going 1, 2, 3, 4 is probably the only option. You can't go 1, 2, 3, 1, 9, so that eliminates all of those possible combinations. I have a slight concern here that at some point they may give me more combinations than are on the screen, and then you'd have to just mouse wheel scroll down to check it. Okay, if it's only 4 possible combinations and then this has to be a 1-9 and there's already a 1 here, then that's a 9, which is putting a 1 next to a 9 in a unmarked column. So maybe there's a logic here where we'll see 1s next to 9s in every unmarked column. Not everyone, obviously, because this 1 would be here. But maybe there can't be a 9 here if you were to wrap around. Do know that that's a 1, and that should leave us with only a 1 being available in that box here, and that's all the 1s now. Which, yeah, let's look at the 9s for a second here. We know that there's a 9 either here or here, but we can't solve that. Let's look at this column. We thought maybe this would have been a 5, 7, 8, but it isn't. It's got to be now 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Which, at that point, I think if we know that that has to include 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, the odd min out numbers are 7 and 8. So what I'd want to do is just clear that and then type 7 and 8 there. Which at a certain point, that tells me that this can't be 7. And we can probably go ahead and fill in the possibility here, and that this seems like it can be 4 or 5. Like 1, 2, 3, 4 is missing. 6 is missing here. This has to be 7 and 8, and this has to be 4 or 5. This is 6. So we got a weird extra digit there that'll start us down the path of eliminating 6s and filling in everything. Guess we're done with that column now. I guess the question as the next step would be, as far as these numbers, if this has to be 4 and 5, can we take 4 and 5 out of the picture? Making this a 2 and 7 pair. I guess we can. I don't think that that inherently helps too much, because it just tells me if a 2 is here, it's going to remove the 2's from these. If a 7 is here, it's going to remove the 7 from this. If a 2 is here, it's going to remove the 2's from here. If a 7 is here. Same is also true for the 6 and 8. That's not locking down to confirmable information. we can, I guess, look at this combination here. And we now know it's either 4 and 8 or 5 or 7, which lets me perhaps select these and fill in the numbers that it can't be. Well, before I do that, and before I get too far into just filling in numbers, I'm noticing a 3 needs to be outside of this sandwich, and a 3 can't be in this box. So 3 needs to be in this spot in this row. So it's got to be here, or it's got to be here, and it can't be here. That leaves only one possibility of a 3 being there. I thought I deselected things. Alright. Which that leaves a 3 in that spot. And reduces the number of possibilities further. As far as the other odd numbers out, might be a little bit more complicated. It looks to me like these numbers could be 2, but these can't be a 2, so this has to be a 2. Yeah. We need a 2 in this row. This box eliminates it just like the 3. Same logic makes that a 2. And then same logic then makes that a 7 because of the 2-7 pair. Different logic. Basic Sudoku though. Okay. So continuing down the path, the other options I think on this would be fairly high, in that it could be a 4 here, and we know that. It could be a 5 here, it could be a 7 here, and could be an 8 here. So we can mark those. And once we get to 4, 5, 7, 8 patterns eliminated in multiple places, we are going to solve the rest of the puzzle. Is there anything that has only one possibility? If we were to just look by basic Sudoku, can we eliminate some options? Get rid of that too. Seems like a 2. Can't be here, obviously, but is there anything stopping a 2 from being in these 2 spots? Yeah, I haven't filled in all the boxes, so just trying to brute force it with basic Sudoku is gonna prove to be wrong. Wrong strategy. It'll just encourage me to make mistakes. You know that there's a 2, a 3 also has to be in here. So by the process of elimination, if we know a 2 and a 3 and one other digit needs to be in this column, then we would know what these digits are. Four we basically know nothing about. 5, same situation. And I'm not really sure why this can't be a 5. Probably because of the possible combinations between this sandwich. 6, we did lock in a 6. But is there really a reason why a 6 couldn't be here. No. Or here, or here, or here, or here. 7s. If we know this has to be a 7, which we do, then either this or this is a 7. But we can, at the very least, eliminate that as being a 7. What else? If we're going to fill in this box, let's just fill in the box properly. What else could be? I don't see anything that says it can't be a 4. I don't see anything that says it can't be a 5. I don't see anything that says it can't be an 8. And we do know it's not a 9. If I'm going to fill that in, might be just as useful to fill in these two also. So we have 1, 2, 3 by the column Sudoku. We don't have a 4, we don't have a 5, and we don't have a 7. We don't have an 8, but we can remove the 7 because there's already a 7 in this box. And that seems like that's more accurate information. We have a 7 in this row, and so we need a 7 in this row and a 7 in this row. But I don't think we've calculated anything that says a 7 couldn't be over here in this row, a 7 couldn't be in this row, or a 7 couldn't be in this row. Moving on to the 8s, I guess. We know very little about the 8s. 9s are almost completely set. We know that there needs to be a 9 here and a 9 in this column. And what can we find from that? We can... This could potentially be a 9 here. Fine. This could be a 9 here, because we just don't have any hints on any of those. Could be a 9 here. It could be a 9 here. It can't be a 9 here. Or 9 here. Right. Let's see. So for these, the possibilities seem to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, with 2 being eliminated from these because of this 2. 9s can't be here. 9 can't be here. Going around in circles a second time is, I think, unlikely to prove too much. But we probably should just, at 100 minutes in, decide to fill in the rest of these squares. So we will just fill in all of the numbers minus the combination here. 2, 3, and 4, and 6. So it would be 5, 7, 8, and 9. Not 9. 5, 7, 8 can be there. from this spot, and it basically could be any number, so I don't know if it's really worth filling in. From this spot, we can fill in these numbers. So that's going to either be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. Basically every possible combination. We can, I guess, remove the 3 as a possibility on that spot. And if there's a 7 or 8 that's matched here, it'll remove a 7 or 8 here. If there's a 4 or 5 here, it will remove that there. And then I guess we could fill in the rest of this box with the odd number out, which is just going to be everything. 2, and then 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, which we can get rid of the 2 because of this, then we can get rid of the 7 because of that. And then if we know that 2, 3, 4 and 5 are already taken from that, that gets this to being a 6, 8. And we actually know that this can't be a 6. So correct that. Alright, so if we need a 6, 8 here, then we now know this is a 6, 8 pair, which can then remove 6, 8 from the possibility there. And since we need a 6, 8 here, maybe that will tell us something later. Can, I guess, remove the 6 and the 8 here, which probably doesn't help any because we still could have a 6 and an 8 here. I doubt we can fill in this spot or this spot based on this column or this row. I don't think that's going to be helpful. We might be able to do something here. In this case, if this was a 6 and an 8 over here, then this would be 3, and nothing stops that from being 3. And is there anything that stops a 6 and an 8 from being in these spots? I don't think so. In fact, we kind of need a 6 and an 8 to be either here or here. So we'll put a 6, 8 there as a possibility. No, 6, 8 can't be here. And then we need a 6 and an 8 to be in this row in some place. If this was 2, 5, 7, I don't think that gives us any new information. If this was 2, 4, 8, and 8 was over here in one of these two boxes, that doesn't give us any information either. So mostly leaves just this spot, this spot, this spot, this spot, and this spot as potential things we could fill in, and we're so close to filling in things, we might as well just do it. No, 1 and 9 and 2 are not possibilities, so we'll just throw in a 3, and then a 4, and then a 5, and then a 6, and then a 7, and an 8. Then what we'll do is take out the 6-8 pair here, and take out the 3 here. And let's see if we can take anything else out here. No. And then just by box math, I'm just going to mark this as possibly being 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. And then we'll take out the 2 because of basic Sudoku being there. Which probably means I could maybe try and calculate something from just basic Sudoku, or at least I should give it a try. If a 3 is here, then these can't be 3, which that may, it doesn't, I think, change anything. And then don't think we can do anything more with 3s. 4s. 4s are still a mess. 5s. 5s are still a mess. 6s. Well, if we have a 6 here, then all of these can not be 6. Which that potentially changes this column. Now down to 2 combinations. And so now if it's just a 7 included here, we'll know this combination. If it's an 8 here, we'll know this combination. Okay, is there anything else we could take from a 6? Weirdly, there needs to be a 6 in this row up here. So we've got to be wrong. There's got to be room for a 6 up here. Yeah. Then if we have room for a 6 up here, isn't the next step in logic to say that the 6 is not here or here? Again, I'm hoping to trust my math is correct here, because we need a 6 either here or here, and then opposite of that here or here, because the pattern here has to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this pattern here needs to be 4, 8, or 5, 8, 5, 7. So yeah, I think that helped a little. And in this case, if we know a 6 can't be in this row, it's got to be here. So this 6, 8 should have been removed. They got added back at some point. So it should look more like that. And then we can't eliminate this as a possibility, this is a possibility, this could be a 6, and then this could be a 6, and this could be an 8, and this could be an 8. Yeah, I don't think we can do anything more with 6s. 7s now. If we can't have a 7 here, if we can't have a 7 here, then 7 has to be up here. So why can we not have a 7 here? There's no hints in this column. There's no hints in this row. So I think I would have to chalk it up to a mistake in that this should have a 7 here as an option. Can I not have a 7 here? That is probably true because of this combination. Which means also I can't have 7 here. It should just be 2, 3, 4, and 6. And this one got some extra numbers in it. Yeah. Can I not have a 6 here? No, I can't. So that potentially cleaned up some things. And then if we need a 7 in this column, and the 7 is not in this, a 7 has to be in one of these. So all of those 7s need to go away. Okay. I'm starting to make this make sense. Can I do anything more? No. I don't think I can yet. If the combinations overlapped in some way, if any of these had just all of the combinations included 2, or all of the combinations included a 3, I could use that information to make more progress. But let's move on to the 8s. If we know an 8 has to be here, because for some reason an 8 can't be here, why can an 8 not be here? Why is this a 4-5 combination? Because this has to be a 6-8. Alright. So, if we know this is a 6-8 in this row somewhere, which makes this a 7-8 for certain, then this is not an 8. But this could be 6 and 8, and then this could be 8, and or this could be 8, or this could be 8, and this could be 8, and this could be 8. So I don't think we can help ourselves any further than that. If we need an 8 in this row here, and this is a 6-8 pair, then this can't be an 8. And that should have already have been eliminated. But I imagine I can't do anything for this box or this box with my current information. The 9s are just going to be stuck for the foreseeable future, and we're just going to go around in circles multiple times. And then I very possibly am going to have to think bigger and just test out some possible thoughts. Four in particular seems to have no in. 5 seems to have no in. 6. Nope. 7. Nope. Yeah, I do believe I've done as much as possible just with basic Sudoku. So let's just reevaluate every column and row. Now, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8 should be the possibilities in this at most. So I don't think we can do anything more from that. We have a 7 and an 8 here, which doesn't tell me anything more from that row. 2, 3, 4, 5 doesn't tell me anything more from that. Could be 2, 4, 8, could be 2, 5, 7, could be 3, 4, 7, could be 3, 5, 6. So I think we're fairly far away from that being helpful. 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Doesn't tell us anything. Let's see, 4, 8, or 5, 7. If this is a 5, then this has to be a 7. It can't be. If we could get it down to a 5, 7 pair. But if this was 5, 7, then this would have to, I guess, be 8. Because that seems to be the only option. If this was 4, 8 pair, then this can be 5 or 7. I don't think that tells me enough info. You know, this is a 6, 8 pair. We almost certainly aren't going to get any new information from this. You know, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We know that this is 2, 3, 4, 6 in some combination. You know, this is either 4, 8 or 5, 7. And because of the 6, 8 removing the 4, 8, then we know it has to be 5, 7. Okay. So that makes this a 5, 7 combination now, or 5, 7 pair, which makes that the elimination of all other possibilities, which has brought me around slowly to this being a 2. Which maybe doesn't make any more progress, but it does bring me around to this being a 3, 4 pair in this column, so we can remove 3s and 4s. I'm not sure if we are getting too much further on that. Felt like that would have been more helpful. 5-7 pair here. Possibly now indicates something can't work. No, I think you could still do 3-5-6. I think you could still do 3-4-7. Still could do 2-5-7. And maybe you can't do 2-4-8 anymore as a combination. Yeah. So we eliminated one combination there. Maybe that's how the progress is going to really go. If we have a 5-7 pair here, then that means we don't have 5-7s here, which might reduce some possibilities. If we could get another one of these squares to be a 4-8, it would remove all the 4-8s also from that. So if I look at 4-8s now, if I put a 4 here, then it would be a 4 here. If I put a 4 in one of these, there would be a 4 here. Don't think that helps. Don't think that helps. Probably am just gonna have to go and look through basic Sudoku rules again and just see if we can brute force this. If there's a 4 here, that's not a 4. Which probably doesn't change too much. Where is that next step? Where is the next step? Well, I think the problem now that I've run into is I've gone through and tried to solve it through basic Sudoku. I've tried to solve it using the sandwich rules, and I feel limited, certainly. Again, I guess if there was a number 3 in every single combination that was left here, then I could eliminate the possibility of a 3 being here, which would mean that the 3 would have to be here or here. That would be small progress. You have to do so much work to just chisel away the possibilities. At least I have to. Maybe I am just brute forcing all of this to a very high level. The only other thought I could have is just look at like boxes and see if there's possibly some extra bit of information by looking at the numbers that we have set in boxes. But I should have already caught anything from that information. I could also just look at rows and columns and just look at it a different way, really approaching the same problem in just a slightly different way so it doesn't become habitual and that my brain doesn't go on autopilot, which it probably is. a little bit on autopilot. Of course, even doing this, my brain can easily just go on autopilot and I can just wave the mouse over columns and pretend like I'm looking at them when I'm subconsciously ignoring them. I think we've got to get a smart hint though. And it seems like we still can't generate smart hints. Maybe that is always the case with sandwich Sudoku, but maybe it is just a case that the programming is not programmed well enough. What you would think would be the case to do is tokenize the solution, have the solution programmed into the game, and then look at the final step, the solved puzzle, and then have branching paths and way in which the final step can be solved, and you compare the final step to the current state, and if you can't get from the final to the final state from the current state, you go back to a previous generation of the state where there would be 2 blank spots effectively, and then see if you're at that point. And I think if you program something like that, you might have to pre-render all of the smart hints, but it almost certainly would create a situation where there always could be a smart hint. It definitely is a failure of imagination, at least, to have a smart hint lit up when you click on it and you can't get it. If it were a case that you couldn't figure out how to program your smart hint algorithm better, you should have the button be grayed out, and then when you can get a smart hint, have it pop up as being blue background so you can click on it. So we did hint 1. Let's see. We probably made massive amount of progress since hint 1. So I assume hint 2 is not going to be helpful. The 1-9 in row 2, column 8 requires with a 3 in between. There is a 1-9 in row 2, column 8, which requires another B in row 4, column 8, with the 3 in between. Now, in row 8, 1-9 must be in column 2, and column 2 and column 9. So yeah, we did that quite a while ago. The 1-9 in row 8, column 2 requires another B in row 6, column 2, with the 3 in between. Nope. This hint is wrong again. It's like he copy and pasted the previous hint. The column says 2. It should be 2 in that hint, not 3. But it clearly is mistyped yet again, and I find that incredibly infuriating that somebody is not checking these numbers and following along. Twice now we found mistakes. But that should be a 2 in between, but everything now is suspect. In column 1, the 14 sandwich can't be 4 cells because of the 3 in row 8, column 1. Three here says that this couldn't have been 4 cells, which we did prove that, and eventually we've proven it down to it needing to be 2 cells. As there cannot be a 1-9 in row 4, column 3, which there's an X there, so we figured that out. Row 4's 9, must be in row. What does that say? Wait, it says row must be in column 4 or 5. Yeah, we eventually figured that out. And now then these rows 6 is 9 must be in row 6 column 7, which we figured that out. 1 9 can be placed in row 1 after that somehow, and column 3, which, yeah, I guess we did. We put a 1 9 here, 1 9 here, 1 9 here, 1 9 here. These sandwiches in row 6 and column 1 make a naked single. Okay. 1 9 can be placed in row 9, which we did that, and column 4, which we did that. So we place that 1 9 and then that 1 9. A triple in row 1, 2, and 3 of column 4. Right, so we had to get all the way to hint 6 before we saw a hint that was helpful, and it's our last hint, so thank goodness it's potentially going to be helpful. So what are we seeing here? A triple in row 1, 2, and 3 of column 4. Determine what row 1 column 5 must be, and the rest of the puzzle can be solved using sandwich clues. So it's just going to leave me on my own from that point. So how do I see a triple here? And how do I determine a triple? There are 3 7s here, which means a 7 can't be anywhere else here. One of these has to be a 7. So let's mark that. There are 3 5s here. But does that inherently mean there has to be a 5 in that? And then there are 3 8s here, but then there's a whole bunch of other 8s also. So is it really just a logical leap that if you see 3 numbers in a row, despite the fact that there's a possibility of other numbers being in a row, that has to prove something? And if it was 3, 5, and 7, then that's only going to remove 5 from a possibility on this. It'd still give me a 4 and an 8 without using sandwich clues, which maybe sandwich clues then tell me something more. So the question, I guess, becomes, how do we get a 3 out of this spot? I don't see, unless there was something more I needed to solve to get rid of the 3. I don't see how you eliminate that as a possibility. Oh wait, I can eliminate this as a possibility because we know that the 3 has to be here. And we actually know the 4 needs to be here. So, let's see. 3's gone, 4's gone, and 2's and 6 gone. Oh, okay. I see what I missed. This one Still should have a 5 somewhere. No, it should be 2, 3, 4, and 6. And I don't think I changed those numbers. Alright. Now we have a triple that's 5, 7, 8. Which means this can't be an 8. Which then, that means 4, 8 here, or 7, 5 here. But since this is a 5, it also eliminates the 5 as a possibility, which means this has to be 7, 4. Okay. Strap in, 140 minutes in. I think we've got it. No, not 7-4, 8-4. Type misread it. That column wouldn't have been available. Okay. Now, both of these can be 7 still. So we got that 5-7 pair. And I think there's a possibility. Right. Actually, let's just undo everything at that point, because I tried to manually correct that. And then 8, 4. Okay, that makes either this 4 or 8. That 4 can't be here, and for some reason the 4 can't be here. It seems. Why can a 4 not be here? Because the 3-4 pair here says it can't be. Okay. Then I'm just going to put faith into that being right. And sandwich clues. Now potentially being helpful, one would hope. If this is a 5-7, it can only be here, then the only place the 8 can be is here, which then makes that the only place the 8 can be is there, which then makes that the only place an 8 can be is there, and then there, and then I'm hoping that's true. Yeah, it's true. This 8 eliminates all these, this 8 eliminates those, this eliminates those. So then that's going to leave just a bunch of 8 options down that way. 6 now. Seems like that's right. The 6 has to be in this combination somewhere. 6 couldn't be here and over here. So we need a 6 in this row and in this box. So this has to be a 6. Makes that have to be a 5. But potentially doesn't do anything more as far as options than a 5. But then that makes that have to be a 7. Which makes those have to be a 7, which makes that have to be a 7. Let's look at 8s. Look at 9s. Just go around again a second time. I wouldn't be surprised if the rest of this is going to have to work based on sandwich clues, since that's what the hint said. guess there's some room for programming here also. If you change something to the wrong number and then you change it back, maybe it should pop up a warning and said you manually tried to undo here, but that didn't change the state back to what it was. You should have clicked the undo button. Of course, you fix it better if you just pop up a warning box when something is marked as red and is wrong and say click the undo button now. You could also not even pop up in a warning box, since it is a video game and warning pop-up boxes would be annoying. You could simply just gray out all the buttons except for the undo button. Yeah, I'm guessing the rest of this is gonna have to be sandwich clues. I'm in a weird situation here where I just don't know if I'm really appreciating this sandwich Sudoku variant. It puts a different spin on it, like most of the variants do. But I feel like I'd have to put some more effort into it to think about whether I'm liking the experience or not. So it's anytime there's a new variant, you have to think things through in a different way. And that certainly can help create a situation. I guess this is only 6. Yeah. Yeah. It's not creating a situation where you're just becoming a master of going through one pattern of brute forcing and solving this. I do have a major concern here, and there probably is some truth to it, that I am just brute forcing the solutions instead of logically deducing things at a faster pace. We could, I guess, just leave that where it is if it's already filled in. Looks to me yeah, I don't see what the next move is. And from the hint, you would think that the next move and all the remaining moves would be based off sandwich rules. We might be able to eliminate this 4. If we have a 4 here, then we have to have a 4 here, which would eliminate this 4. And then if we have a 4 here, then we'd have to have a 4 here, which would also eliminate this 4. So that's not 4. And then by that maybe helps you a little bit more, but I don't think it helps in that next step. Maybe same logic though. If there's a 4 here, there's a 4 here, and then that means that's not 4, which If there were sandwich rules here or here, that would be helpful. I've now just deduced that the 4 has to be here or here. Which, if the 4 was here, it eliminates these possibilities and lets the 4 be here. If the 4 was here, it would eliminate these possibilities and the 4 could be here. If there is a 5 here and a 5 here by that same logic, then that would eliminate these 5s. If this 5 here and this 5 here by that same logic, that would eliminate those 5s. So maybe I'm learning a new strategy here. So there's a 5, it has to be here. There's a 5 here. 5 could be here, or it could be here, so we can't do anything with that. Let's see. If there's a 6 here, then there would have to be a 6 here, I think. Are we certain about that, though? Not 100% certain. There could be a 6 here. If there was a 6 here, it doesn't change anything. If there's a 6 here, it eliminates these boxes. If there was a 6 here, it would eliminate those boxes. Yeah. I don't think there's enough information. Okay, well, then on that, why can there not be a 7 here or a 7 here? Because the 5-7 pair here says the 7 is here or here. And so if a 7 here can't be here and a 7 can't be here, and a 7 can't be here and a 7 can't be here, then the 7 has to be here and the other 7 has to be here. Okay. And then with the 5-7 pair, that eliminates combinations, probably eliminates this 3-4-7 possibility, but easier. It also eliminates this 4 combination, making this 4, making this 3, making this 5. Then General Sudoku now may help me with some of the rest of this. Maybe not. Regardless, that should have been enough progress with the sandwich rules to take the next step. So I guess we'll check the sandwich combinations again. Let's see. Guess we're looking for pairs or individual numbers. we have a 5, so this is either going to be 2, 5, 7, or 2, 5, 6. So we know that there's a 2 in here. Well, yeah, it can't be 3. This is 3, 5, 6, so it's got to be 2, 5, 7. So then that gets rid of the 6. Which 6 can't be here, 6 can't be here. That makes that 6. Which then that means this has to be 6. And probably doesn't make any more progress on 6s. But then this one has to be a 3. That has to be a 2, and we've got our first box, well, I guess maybe our second box filled now. And did we make any more progress other than that? My default thought is always to just go back and check basic Sudoku first, but even doing that, that process just takes a lot of time. Obviously, this highlights the difference between a computer program which can do many simplistic, downright stupid actions over and over again to eventually brute force a solution versus a human being who does not have the capacity to move that fast. If this was a 4, then there couldn't be a 4 in this. If this was a 5, then there couldn't be a 5 in this. Both of those options seem valid. If we know that this is 3, 4, and 5 in this spot, that might have been helpful earlier. If we know that this is 2 and 7, we know this is a 3, 6 pair. We've got quite a few pairs. You know, this is a 5, 7 pair. You know, this was a 6, 8. You know, that was a 2. We got that. And only have the 7, 8 pair left. Now, we need a 2 in between the 9 and 1 sandwiched. And the 2 can't be anywhere but there. So that's got to be a 2. Which probably means that a 2 can only be here. But still doesn't really touch on these 2s. And then this one's been solved and this one's been solved. This is only capable of being an 8. Because the 2 options would have been 3 or 8, and there's already a 3 there. Which makes that only capable of being a 3. Which then makes that only capable of being a 4. And that only being capable of being a 7. And that only being able to be a 3. And then that makes this 8. And that 5. We should be on the downward slope. Now, everything should just fall into place, and we should slowly mark in every place where there's only one possibility. And we'll be surprised almost certainly that we'll just run into one digit getting filled in completely. Possibly the 4s here. Yep, that's 2 digits done now. And then 8, 3, 7. Can't do the 7s yet. 5s. There's our 5s done. 3s. 2. There's our 2s done. Yeah. This is definitely more basic Sudoku solving though. There's our 9s done. Doing this part and just having only one possible final part of it, the solution, is basic Sudoku. It's not using the sandwich things. And finally, as our last action, we can get a smart hint if we absolutely needed it. But yeah, what I was trying to explain earlier, and maybe I didn't do a good job about it, is if you can generate and pre-render this smart hint, where this would be the final solution, then there are only a few places. It wouldn't just be 9 by 9 possible combinations where the 2 wouldn't be filled in, the 3 wouldn't be filled in, the 9 wouldn't be filled in. In fact, even if you had made every single combination and pre-rendered it, you could pre-render it for every single possible Sudoku game as long as you're following classic rules, and then you can have a subset of solutions that also include non-classic rules that you would toggle on or off from that pre-rendered model. It would be a branching tree decision path model that it would be tokenized, and you would just start with every single possible solution of Sudoku, and then you take a step back and say, well, if the last square here needs to be this, here's the hint we can generate to say how to make this last square here a 2. And you can do that for 1 through 9 in this square, 1 through 9 in this square, over and over and over again, based on different possibilities. And if you can program that well and pre-render that well enough, you should always be able to have a smart hint ready and available. And maybe pre-rendering is not even necessary. Maybe it is more of a case where just a better algorithm could figure that out. The place it would fail would be in the very first move. But even then, good programming should account for that. Alright, well, that's a 5-star difficulty puzzle at 162 minutes and 16 seconds. And yeah, I'm very much just left questioning as far as whether I like sandwich Sudokus or not. Let's see. 162 minutes is about the same amount of time as it took us to do antlers. About the same time that it took to do the night Sudoku. About the same time it took us to do 11 Cs. And yeah, about half the time this Domo Sudoku, which was half as difficult. Why are they not starting with a 1-star on the sampler pack though? Well, regardless, these are long episodes, so it makes sense not to make this super long as far as wrap-ups. The 500 puzzle, number 8, has found a way to spell out the number 500 in the Sudoku by having a variety melody Sudoku, which variety melody I think in this case is going to just have a massive amount of rules and variants in it, and I don't know if I have been trained well enough to know how all of those mechanics work. Like, if anything, it feels like I should have had a tutorial to learn some of these mechanics, because there definitely are symbols here I don't recognize. But we'll deal with that in the next episode. That's going to be it for this episode. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.